Okay, so today this video is to highlight some basic movements from a home exercise workout that is no equipment required, just body weight only. So I want to make sure everyone's familiar with the basic movements. First one is really easy. It's a squat. I shouldn't say easy, but I should say simple. I want to make sure my hips and my shoulders determine the width of my heels. So I don't want to be too narrow, and I also don't want to be really too wide here either. So my heels should be roughly hip and shoulder width apart. My toes are out a little bit. My knees track out over my toes as I squat. I can keep my hands forward. I can put it behind my ears or just keep them up, whatever you want to do with them. Make sure when you squat that you want to keep neutral spinal posture, so I'm not tugging under or leaning too far out. I just want to squat with a nice neutral spine. Second movement, leg lifts. It's a bit of a misnomer because while I'm lifting my legs, I'm not using my legs to pick them up. I'm not using my hips. I want to make sure I'm really engaging my lowest abs. So when I lay on my back, I want to draw in nice and tight, and I want to use those lowest abs to lift my hips and legs off the ground, just like so. Really focus on getting nice and tight, way down at the bottom of your abs. The third movement is something that most people aren't very familiar with. It's called a pike push-up. There's a couple of ways that you can add some variety to this. Now, I like to put my feet up, but you don't have to. You can keep your feet on the ground. You want to put your weight here, and you're essentially doing a push-up in an overhead pressing position. Just like so. I like to get my feet up on a chair. I don't need to keep them perfectly straight. The legs just here, and press, and back up. Now, if you're having trouble with that overhead pressing position and being vertical with your head down, you can actually take a countertop or a chair and use that for an overhead pressing push-up as well, just like so. Notice I'm not letting my elbows flare out. I don't want to get my shoulder internally rotated. I want to keep a nice push-up position with my shoulders feeling very comfortable, just like so. That's our third movement. After that, we're going to follow up with some basic push-ups. Again, if I have trouble doing push-ups on the floor with good form through my shoulders, I can use a surface, a countertop, the back of the chair, the bottom of the chair, and get a really nice, effective push-up for my chest muscles. Again, the height of the surface doesn't matter. What matters is how well am I using my chest to press myself away. After our push-ups, we're going to do some basic crunches. So we're going to lie down on the ground. Now I'm using the top of my abs. I'm crunching very, very tight. Again, drawing in to press my core right through the bottom of the floor. 2, 3, 4. I like to tell people not to put their hands behind their head because I don't want to pull on my neck. So I'm just going to focus on using those abs to crunch real tight. After we do our crunches, we're going to move on to our skydiver with reacher. I'm laying down on my stomach. In my skydiver position, I'm going to lift my hands, elbows, and wrists as high off the ground as I can, and I'm going to try to balance just right at the top of my hips. That's my skydiver. Now the reacher is to reach and pull back. Reach and pull back. Again, I'm moving nice and slow. I'm not trying to rush these. And when I reach, I'm trying to keep my hands, wrists, and elbows as high off the ground as I can. After our skydivers, we have our inverted doorway row. So I'm going to do an inverted row. If you've seen these before, normally I have a TRX strap or a bar. And I'm going to hang off that bar and pull myself to it. If you're at home and you don't have that tool available, just grab a door frame and pull. Remember, the lower the angle is, the more challenging the pull is going to be. Remember, right now I'm wearing socks. So if I put too much pressure on my feet, I'm going to slide right out from under me. So it's best to wear shoes or something that's going to give you a nice, stable footing. We're going to finish off with a few movements here. Basic glute bridges. Heels are about the same width for my squat. My toes are off the ground, and I squeeze my glutes into a flat, bridged position, and I lower with control. Squeeze and control. Squeeze and control. After glute bridges, we have our praying mason twists. I like to call them praying masons because I like to press my hands together in a prayer position. I'm going to lean back, find my balance, and rotate my upper body. So I'm turning my ribs. Most people, when they do these, have a tendency to use their arms, but you'll notice that my ribs aren't moving at all, so it doesn't matter if I touch the floor. What matters is I turn my ribs every single time. If you're counting these, you count every other side. 1, 2, 3. After our praying masons, we finish with alternating lunges, reverse lunges, just like so. If you have trouble, if you have a knee issue, you can always do a single leg lunge and use a little bit of support. Try to get as much work in your leg as possible. Remember, the key difference between this and a squat is that I'm closer to the middle, but I'm also in a balanced position, so I'll feel more work on the inside and outside of my leg as well. I hope you enjoyed this workout. Remember to pick a number that works for you, and if you can do better, try it on the second time. You can start humble and build up slowly. Let me know how it goes.